What if the person you loved most never really left? Fans of Heartland are buzzing with one question. Is Borden actually coming back in Season 19? Episode 1 just dropped, and the clues are hard to ignore. Something big is happening at Heartland Ranch, and it might bring back the heart of the show. Heartland has always been more than just a show about horses. It's about love, loss, family, and second chances. And for many fans, no storyline has been more emotional than the loss of Borden. His death in Season 14 shocked the entire Heartland community, both on and off screen. It wasn't just a character leaving, it was a turning point in the series. Ty was Amy's soulmate, Lyndy's father, and the one person who truly understood the soul of the ranch. His absence has left a silence in every scene since. When Season 18 ended, we saw Amy continuing her journey without him. She's been strong, especially for Lyndy, but there are still moments when her eyes seem to drift off, almost as if she's still searching for him in the wind, the trees, or the horses. Life at the ranch has gone on, but it hasn't been the same. Jack has tried to keep things steady. Lou's been busy juggling her mayoral duties, and Georgie has grown into a young woman chasing big dreams. Still, there's been something missing, a feeling, a presence. And it's not just the characters feeling it. Fans have felt it too. That's why the buzz around Season 19 Episode 1 is so intense. It opens with a different kind of energy. Calm, emotional, and almost haunting. There's a moment in the very first few minutes when Amy walks past Ty's old clinic, now quiet and still. The way the camera lingers on the door. The silence in that moment, it feels like something is about to happen. And that's when people started asking, is Ty really gone forever? Or is the story shifting again? What's also interesting is how the episode leans heavily into memory. Amy finds a box in the barn, one she hasn't opened in years, inside. Old photos, small mementos, and even a worn leather notebook. As she flips through it, we hear soft music playing, music that used to underscore scenes between her and Ty. It's almost like the past is trying to find its way back into the present. And maybe, just maybe, this season is about more. Then moving on, maybe it's about rediscovering what still lives in the heart. Many fans have pointed out how the ranch itself seems different this season, not physically, but emotionally. There's a feeling in the air. And Episode 1 plays with that idea beautifully. Even Lyndy, who's growing fast and asking more questions, wonders aloud to Amy, "Do you think Daddy can still see us?" That one line was enough to make thousands of fans tear up, because it shows that Ty's presence still lingers, even if he's not physically there. Heartland has never been a show that rushes through emotions. It takes its time. It lets moments breathe. And that's what makes the setup in Episode 1 so powerful. Every detail, from the lighting in Ty's old space to the memories Amy holds in silence, hints at something deeper, something the writers haven't fully revealed yet, but it's coming. And that brings us to the question that's on everyone's mind. How could Ty return? Is it possible we'll see him again, even for a moment? Or is this season simply about his memory and how it continues to shape Amy's life? Those answers begin to unfold as the episode continues, and in the next section, we'll explore the new storylines introduced in Episode 1, including some surprising character shifts that just might set the stage for a return no one expected. Episode 1 doesn't just reopen old emotional doors, it also throws open new ones. The first thing longtime fans will notice is that this isn't the same Heartland they left behind at the end of Season 18. There's a shift in tone. A quiet storm brewing just beneath the surface. And that storm begins not with chaos, but with change. Amy is at the center of it, as always. But this time, she's not just the gentle horse whisperer. She's a woman caught between the world she once knew and the one she's trying to build for her daughter. In the premiere, Amy takes on a troubled horse, one that seems as lost and distant as she feels. There's a striking moment where the horse refuses to be touched, pulling away again and again. It's a mirror of Amy's own grief, still buried deep. As she trains the horse, we see the emotional wall slowly cracking. Not just for the horse, but for Amy too. Asterisk, meanwhile, Lou's world is spinning in a different direction. As mayor of Hudson, she's facing public pressure from a new city project, one that threatens the land bordering Heartland Ranch. It's not just a political problem. It's personal. Lou has always been torn between ambition and family, and this episode pushes her further into that conflict. There's a moment when she argues with Jack, her voice sharp with stress, but her eyes full of doubt. It's clear she's trying to prove something, maybe to the town, maybe to herself. Asterisk Georgie, on the other hand, brings a sense of urgency to the episode. Now training with elite riders for a shot at the Olympics, she returns home briefly. And something's different about her. She's tougher, more independent, but she's also hiding something. During a quiet dinner, Jack asks if she's okay. She says yes, but the camera lingers just long enough to tell us she's not. Georgie's story seems ready to explore the pressure of success, the cost of dreams, and possibly a decision that could pull her away from Heartland for good. Asterisk, and then there's Jack, the soul of the ranch, the quiet protector. In episode 1, we see him slower than usual. He sits down to rest more often. He reaches for his back when he thinks no one's looking. There's no dramatic reveal, not yet, but something is clearly happening. And for a character who has always been strong, always been steady, this shift is hard to ignore. Could the ranch be preparing for another loss, or is this just another reminder that time moves on, even if we don't want it to? Asterisk, but perhaps the most interesting and subtle moment in the premiere comes during a scene with Lyndy. She's playing with a wooden horse figurine, one her father carved years ago. When Amy asks where she found it, Lyndy simply says, "He gave it to me." There's a pause. Amy looks confused. "You mean you found it in the box?" she asks, but Lyndy shakes her head. "No, he gave it to me last night." Asterisk, it's a quiet moment, and the show doesn't explain it further. But for anyone paying attention, it's impossible to miss the weight of that line. Was it just a child's dream, a slip of imagination, or something more? Could this be the writers planting the first seed of Ty's return, not physically, but spiritually, through memory, through dreams, through the connection between a daughter and the father she barely got to know? Asterisk, that single line might be the softest part of the episode, and yet it could be the most important. Heartland has always told its most powerful stories not through loud twists, but through the quiet honesty of life, a look, a silence, a memory, and episode 1 is full of them. Asterisk, as new storylines open up Amy's renewed connection to horses, Lou's political struggles, Georgie's hidden truths, and Jack's quiet signs of aging, the show seems to be asking a question without ever saying it out loud. Asterisk, can we ever truly let go of asterisk? No, Ty hasn't walked through the front door of the ranch. He hasn't appeared on a horse or stepped into a scene wearing his usual calm expression, but that doesn't mean he isn't there. Episode 1 is filled with quiet signs, subtle echoes, and moments that feel almost too specific to be coincidence. This isn't just nostalgia, it feels intentional. Let's break it down. First, there's the camera work. In multiple scenes, especially the ones with Amy and Lyndy, the camera moves like a memory. It lingers on old photos. It slides past empty spaces where Ty once stood. In one moment, Amy is seen walking through the woods alone. She stops, turns, and for a heartbeat, she smiles. There's no one there. But the smile isn't sad. It's soft, warm, as if something or someone is with her. The scene fades out without explanation, but it leaves a feeling behind, and fans have noticed. Second, the dialogue has changed. There are several quiet mentions of Ty, not just from Amy, but from Jack and Lou. Jack, in particular, delivers a line that hits hard. Some people don't leave even when they're gone. They stay in the soil, in the wind, in the ones they love. On paper, it sounds poetic. But in the context of the episode, it feels like a message, one aimed straight at Amy, and maybe even the audience. Third, let's talk about Lyndy again. Her comment about Ty giving her the wooden horse wasn't the only moment that raised eyebrows. Later, she's seen drawing something in crayon. It's a picture of their family. Amy, Lyndy, and a man with dark hair and a blue shirt. When Amy asks who that is, Lyndy says, "Daddy, from my dream." The show doesn't dismiss it. It doesn't treat it as childish imagination. Instead, Amy gets quiet, thoughtful, almost like she believes it. Now, let's talk theories, the kind that are flooding fan forums, Reddit threads, and YouTube comment sections. This is the most likely route, and the one fans are almost hoping for. Heartland has used dreams and visions before, especially when characters are processing grief. It wouldn't be out of character for Ty to appear in Amy's dream, not as a ghost, but as a part of her healing, a way for her to move forward. Not away from him, but with him still in her heart. One final conversation, one last ride. That's all fans want. And episode 1 seems to be setting the stage for exactly that. Could the producers have filmed new flashback scenes before Ty's actor Graham Wardle officially stepped away? It's possible, and there's speculation that inaired scenes may be used this season. Fans notice that the music playing when Amy opens Ty's notebook in the barn is the exact same melody used in Season 8 when Ty proposed. Is that a coincidence? Or a setup for something more? Some fans believe Ty may return through his old journal, the one Amy finds in the barn. We haven't heard what's written in it yet, but if Amy starts reading it in future episodes, the show might use Ty's voice as narration. That would be both powerful and deeply emotional, hearing him again, even if he's not physically there. And yes, fans are already bracing for tears. But perhaps the boldest theory comes from a small moment easily missed by casual viewers. A scene in the trailer where Amy is standing in the middle of the ranch, whispering something like, "I thought I saw you." It's brief, almost hidden. But those 4 words suggest that Amy may be reaching a point in her grief where memory and reality are beginning to blur, and where Ty might finally return, not just to her dreams, but to her story, whether it's a vision, a dream, a flashback, or something more spiritual. The message is clear. Ty Borden still matters to Amy, to Lyndy, to the ranch, and to every viewer who's held onto his story since the very beginning. And while we may not have all the answers yet, one thing is certain: episode 1 isn't just a beginning. It's a doorway, and on the other side of that door might be the heart of Heartland itself. Sometimes, the loudest character in a story is the one who says nothing at all. And in Season 19, Ty Borden is silently everywhere. It's remarkable how a single character can live so strongly in the hearts of millions, even after he's gone. Since the moment episode 1 aired, the Heartland fan community has been in a storm of emotions. YouTube comments, Reddit threads, and fan pages are flooded with reactions, breakdowns, and one common thread: "I felt him there." Ty didn't appear on screen, not physically, but emotionally, he was in nearly every scene. What makes this so powerful is the way the show uses symbolism to keep Ty's presence alive. Take the scene with the hawks circling over the barn. At first glance, it's just a beautiful moment in nature, quiet and free. But longtime fans will remember that birds, especially hawks and eagles, have always been tied to Ty's spirit. In the past, Amy once said that Ty was as wild and steady as the sky itself. And now, in Season 19, we're watching the sky again. Not for drama, but for signs. There's also the matter of the old tree near the edge of the property, the one Ty carved their initials into seasons ago. In episode 1, Amy finds herself standing beside it, her hand tracing the marks. She doesn't say a word. But you don't need dialogue to feel what that moment means. It's where love lived. It's where memory breathes. That one scene says more than an entire monologue ever could. Asterisk and the fans, they noticed. Some are calling episode 1 a love letter to Ty, others say it's the beginning of a final goodbye that feels more gentle than tragic. And some, maybe the most hopeful among us, believe it's the start of something bigger. That the show is slowly reopening a door that was never truly closed. Asterisk Heartland has always told its stories through emotion, not shock value. And that's why Ty's potential return, even as a voice, a vision, or a presence, is being handled with such care. Writers know what he means to fans. They know that for Amy to move forward, she needs more than silence. She needs something to hold on to. And in many ways, so do we. Asterisk, there's a growing fan theory that Amy may begin seeing Ty not as a ghost, but as a part of herself. That his lessons, his love, and his guidance will begin to show up in her actions. One fan even posted, asterisk greater than maybe. Ty doesn't return to speak. Maybe he returns through Amy, through the way she comforts a horse, through the way she teaches Lyndy. Maybe she becomes him in spirit. Asterisk, that idea is deeply Heartland. After all, this show has never been about endings. It's about circles of life, of loss, of healing. Ty's life was one part of that circle. And now, as Amy raises their daughter and tries to find her place again, she may be stepping into the light he left behind. Asterisk, this symbolism isn't just for drama. It's emotional architecture, the way Heartland builds feelings into everyday moments. A glance at an old photograph, a sound of hooves at sunrise, a cup of coffee poured but never sipped. These are the things that speak the loudest in this show. And every single one of them in episode 1 feels like it's wrapped in Ty's memory. Asterisk, even the horses seem different this season. There's calmness to them, a kind of understanding. As if the ranch, the land, the animals, the family remembers him to ... Asterisk, by the end of episode 1, many fans weren't asking if Ty would return. They were asking how. Because when a character is written with this much love, this much weight, they never really leave. They simply shift into something deeper, something felt rather than seen. Asterisk, so maybe the big surprise of season 19 won't be a dramatic return. Maybe it'll be something quieter, more powerful. Maybe it will be a scene where Amy finally closes her eyes, feels the wind in her hair, and says goodbye, not in grief, but in peace. Asterisk, and maybe, just maybe, she hear his voice one last time. There are characters you forget after an episode, and then there are the ones who live inside you long after the screen fades to black. Ty was that kind of character. He didn't need big speeches or dramatic exits. His presence was his power, quiet, steady, kind, and now, years after his final goodbye, the story whispers him back. Asterisk, season 19 isn't promising a resurrection. It's not offering fantasy. What it's doing, slowly, softly, is honoring memory. And for fans of Ty and Amy, that might be the most meaningful return of all. Asterisk, because let's be honest, life doesn't always give us clean endings. People leave, things change. But love, it lingers. It shapes the way we grow, the way we grieve, the way we love again. And that's what Heartland is teaching us this season. Asterisk, when Amy rides alone across the fields, she isn't just training a horse. She's moving forward, step by step, with a shadow at her side that doesn't slow her down, it lifts her up. When Lyndy speaks of dreams and whispers from the night, she's not just imagining, she's reaching for a connection that's more spiritual than physical. A connection that's rooted in the kind of love that never fades. Asterisk, and when Jack tells Lou, we carry them in what we do, he isn't just talking about Ty. He's talking about all of them, Marianne, Ty, the generations of strength that built that land and continue to breathe through it even when they're gone. Asterisk, this isn't just storytelling. It's emotional truth. It's the kind of writing that says grief isn't the end of love. In fact, it's proof that love existed at all. Asterisk, so what does Ty Borden's return really mean? Asterisk, and maybe that's the real message of Heartland. Season 19. Asterisk, you don't have to see someone to know they're still with you. Asterisk, you just have to feel it. Asterisk, and somehow, we all still do. Asterisk, asterisk.